Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're actually heading out to the tool store right now to pick up a few supplies that we need because we're actually gonna work on a 260Z. So hopefully something gets done, and we're hoping, we have some good progress going on for this video. So enjoy, let's roll.
Guys, now that we came back from the parts store, we bought a couple of materials we needed for the project we have going on, so we're gonna go ahead and continue the 260Z project.
Alright guys, so today is gonna be pretty interesting, a little nerve-wracking to be honest, but we're pretty confident that we can do what we're gonna do right now. Alright, so from the past videos, you guys know that we picked up a transmission. So this is a CD009 transmission from a 350Z, and this is it right here. You guys last saw it all saran wrap and all that stuff, and we finally opened it up and we're finally ready to work on it basically. Alright, so like I said, this is a 350Z transmission. It's a 6-speed manual, which is what I wanted, and it pretty much came complete, although it's used. So there's some extra parts, some bolts, transmission, the shifter here, the boot, and all that stuff. Alright, so as far as what we're actually going to do to the transmission, and the reason we went to the tool store is to pick up some cutoff wheels, which you can get them very easily. They're a couple of bucks. And what we're going to do now, we're going to start installing the Collins adapter kit that's over there in the box, all nice and shiny and new. With all the parts from the Collins adapter kit, we're basically just gonna go to town and start cutting things up from here. And I'm gonna show you pretty much step by step, what you need and what you're gonna do to it, and pretty much everything as far as the transmission goes. So you can use the Collins adapter kit. So very quickly, I'm first gonna give you guys the pretty much summarized list of like the steps we're gonna take. Then after that, we're actually going to show you how to do it, so that way you guys have a very good reference as to how to. So very quickly, first step we're going to do, as you can see, there's still some parts here that we're not going to need anymore, like the slave cylinder, the little throwout bearing here, the clutch fork. We're not going to use any of these parts, so we're going to take these off for starters. We're gonna take this off because it's gonna be too long. It's gonna throw the shifter way too far back from what I hear, and from then we're just gonna start our cutting. So basically we're gonna have to cut from here, the second vein right here. We're gonna cut right in front of it. After that, after we're done cutting all the way around, we're gonna have to grind it a little bit, just make sure to grind it smooth, flat. We're also gonna cut this off and grind it down so it can be smooth also, just for more clearance with the transit tunnel. So after you're done cutting and grinding it flat and smooth and all that stuff, that's pretty much the first part. It's pretty much the steps you need to take to prep it so you can start the installation of the adapter kit over there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, so that way it won't be too long of an explanation without no action. Okay, so let's start.
Alright guys, so it's that moment. It's our first time cutting one of these. Actually, any transmission, we never cut one open, but we'll see how this goes. Time to go to town. Alright, safety first. You don't want OSHA showing up. Cosa con cariño y calma, because we don't want to ruin it, but there it goes. almost halfway to there.
So you definitely want to watch out porque once you start cutting, like if you can see from the inside over here, it does have these veins right here. So para empezar, you gotta cut. You gotta, I guess, I mean, you gotta really let the cutoff wheel, you know, don't press it in, because you know you run the risk of fucking breaking the wheel, and you really don't want to do that. So just, you know, con calma, con cariño, you know, just keep going back and forth. Make sure, you know, it's cutting. Take a peek inside también. You can always go through it again once you actually see that it went through, and just worry about the veins later once you actually have the whole cutout. That way, you know that you're going through it. Again, it's gonna, you know, just make sure you take your time with it. Don't rush it. Make sure you're doing it right, or as best as you can. And let's keep going. Looks like the truth. Something together. There you go.
Beautiful. Damn, perfect. You probably wouldn't even need to.
Yeah, I still have to grind it.
Yeah, for a little bit.
I did kind of nick it over here, but I think
looking good. Damn.
Alright, so now that we have this the bell housing cut off, we're gonna go ahead and grind this smooth and flat. As you can see, there are some sharp edges here, so we want to make it look nice right there to get it ready to test fit the adapter. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that we finally have our bell housing cut off, the next step now is to take off this shaft plate right here. You can see there's around 11 bolts or so. We're gonna go ahead and unbolt that, take off the plate. That way we can test fit our adapter plate. So we'll do that.
All right, guys, so as you guys saw the process, you know, cut the bell housing, you know, make it look a little, cut the edges, took off the piece right here. That's where the adapter is gonna go. And yeah, here's a adapter plate.
There it is right here. But before we're able to actually test fit this, let me show you over here. Before we do that, we have to, as you can see, there's a long stud right here with the nut. We have to cut this thing flush to the nut, so that way when we test fit that, it's gonna go in. Because as of right now, it's not gonna go in flush. Let me prove that to you right now.
It looks too shiny.
Look at that.
Damn, super excited getting this done.
There you go, right there. No entra because of that little stud right
So
there.
because of that little stud,
It's not letting it
it's
sit
not
properly.
it's not sitting flush in there. So I'm gonna cut this little guy right here. What about this one? No, this one's done. So just this one here. Then of course we got the T56 bell housing here, which is gonna replace that old sucker over there.
Go.
So finally, brand new parts going in here, and hopefully we'll finish today before it gets nighttime. But if not, we'll continue it tomorrow. All right, guys. So there it is. Cut that little thing there.
Got the little nubby nub. All right, guys. So now that we have the little transmission cover area a little cleaned up, kind of test fitted it. It seems like it's gonna sit pretty good. Now we have our adapter plate right here on the table. These are our bell housing bolts. These 2 bolts are for the slave cylinder, and these go for bolting the plate to the transmission there. So what we're gonna do now, since this had a gasket right here, like around here for the bolts, we're gonna go ahead and apply RTV all around this area right here. So that way we'll prevent it from leaking oil. We'll also put a glue thread locker on the bolts also. So again, to prevent any oil leaking whatsoever. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and apply the RTV right now. All right, so now that we put some RTV, might have been a little too much, but yeah, should be good. We're gonna go ahead and pretty much put it on here so we can get ready to bolt it on. There you go. Now we just have to put the bolts here so it won't be going anywhere. The adapter takes the place of the input shaft plate that we took off earlier.
So this plate replaces that piece. This one here, it's looking good. Then it does come with the new hardware. All right, guys, so yesterday it was already too late, like nighttime. It was early, but you know, this daylight saving time, it was already dark, but you know, we're picking it up today.
All right, so yesterday we finished up putting on the adapter plate here, and we tying up the bolts for the adapter to the transmission. So we're good to go there. Seems to be sitting pretty good. It should be sufficient. It should be all good. We did the gaskets. So now we have to open the bell housing up because we're actually gonna bolt this on. Might as well. So that way we can have a transmission already complete, ready to drop in. What's up?
By the way, the bolts, they're only half size.
Alright. Take this off right here. So this is a T56 bell housing right here. But actually, before we actually install the bell housing, what we're gonna do, and what we also got from a little shipment, is this T56 slave cylinder right here. So we're actually gonna install this. Might as well, since we're already here. That's good.
Fresh out the box.
They're brand new. So it's pretty simple. Nothing too crazy at all. That's how it sits right there. Got these 2 little bolts right here. Put one there. And one here.
By the way, guys, you know, we never done this, so you know, it's our first time, but
I've actually never seen a freaking slave cylinder like this before. This gets rid of the slave cylinder out here. Everything's inside right here, so there's no slave cylinder outside. The clutch fork is gone, so it's pretty much from here to the master cylinder. And this, I believe, this is where you bleed it from. So there are options, or you can. I'm pretty sure it's this one or this one. I don't remember at the moment, but you can literally buy a kit where you can pretty much install the hose directly right here, and every time you gotta bleed it, you could even buy it long enough so you can just freaking bleed the whole clutch system from pretty much his driver's seat. So that's pretty cool. So we'll probably get that later, once we pretty much go move forward in the build.
yeah, but you know, it looks like a lot of work, but in reality, like, we just done it, and it's pretty much straightforward. You just gotta know what you're doing, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
You know, read and you know, do your research before you cut something. Common sense.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was kind of lagging it because I was like a little bit worried since I've never cut a transmission bell housing off before, and you know I would have hate to just mess that up. But I mean, to be honest, it's not that bad. You just take your time, you know, do things carefully, and you should be good. To be honest, there's nothing. It's not anything out of this world, basically. But okay, so now that we have the slave cylinder on and bolted on, again, it's pretty much just hand tight. You know, there's small bolts. Just make sure that you don't want to over tighten it and, you know, have the potential of snapping them off, and you don't want that. Actually, we're gonna bolt on the bell housing to the adapter plate here, and as you can see, it does have 2 dowel pins for the bell housing here, which go here and here. So it should pretty much guide itself in. Let's see here.
Give it a little smack.
A little smacky smack. Usually what they do, it's they bolt the adapter plate to the bell housing first, but I guess we just decided to do it the opposite and make things harder because, you know, why not? So we just gotta smack it in for the dowel pins to go in. Hey guys, so we discovered we got a little setback here. As you can see, we did get the bell housing onto the adapter plate, but I didn't know this before, and it was a little surprising, but whatever, it is what it is. So as you can see, the plate here bolts onto the bell housing, right? Which is, you know, it's pretty straightforward. The problem is there's one bolt that the actual transmission it's covering on the plate here. So I was kind of on the fence, you know, should I just send it and without this bolt? And you know, I just decided to pretty much take off the plate again, so that way, you know, I can actually bolt the plate to the bell housing first, and then from there bolt both of these things together as a unit to the transmission. That way it'll have all the bolts from the adapter plate to the bell housing, and pretty much, so there's not going to be any extra bolts. So again, a little minor setback. I wish I would know that before, but you know, a ver caso se hace el muchacho. So it's pretty much, you know, just taking these bolts off, taking the plate off, putting more gasket maker to the little thing there so it can sit, and pretty much bolt on the plate to the bell housing. So let's do that. All right, so this is what we got going on right now. Again, I had to clean off the old RTV that I had put yesterday. Now we're actually putting the bolts in for the plate to the bell housing right now, which is what we should have done yesterday, pero ni pedo.
Con todo y melcocha.
Forget the blue thread lock right there.
We ended up, you know, trimming it down here a little bit. Also this one, more flush, the little thing we cut
There's
it.
a little nub right there, but decided to grind it down a little bit more just to make sure it's not gonna bump to the plate.
So the adapter plate's already, you know, bolted onto the bell housing already. So now, time to put the other bolts back in. So that's pretty much he's finishing up, tightening it up. Like I said, it doesn't have torque spec, so pretty much hand tight, I hope. Well, it didn't come with torque spec, so
Couldn't find anything online either. But I mean, again, they're smaller bolts, so when they're smaller bolts, they're usually around a little bit more than hand tight, so that's why I'm kind of going over and over.
But yep, there it is. TVD6, bell housing, adapter plate, slave cylinder, all fresh and new, tightened down. You could get it at Collins Performance. Like I said, you know, they have full kit available for your needs for this CD009 trans out of a 350Z. Let me show you guys a little how flush is looking. So there's no gap right here from the adapter to the bell housing. There shouldn't be no gap. Our error was this, so we took it off like you guys saw. Took it off, put it back together. But before we put it back together, we bolted on the plate and the bell housing before we put it back in the trans because of this. But damn, it looks good. Looks good. The old bell housing, when we cut off, you can see, you know, the difference. Look at that.
All right, guys. So since we finally got the transmission pretty much ready, we got the adapter kit on and everything. You know, that'll be it for this video. This basically, you know, a step-by-step guide to how to install that adapter kit to the transmission there. I will be sourcing, well, I'll pretty much have to source out a remote bleeder line for that transmission for the slide cylinder. So I'll definitely have to check that out since I don't have it yet. And with that being said, you know, make sure to follow us on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe, smash that like button if you like the content. Subscribe for future content. Comment down below. You know, I'll make sure to reply to you guys as much as I can. Seems like it's about to rain right now, so we finish at a good time right now. And you know, with that being said, see you guys next time. Peace.